Hey Matt, so I decided to record my reflection rather than write things out. I felt as if I'd be able to honestly implement the things that I talk about in this reflection and previous um, and or in further work if I verbally said it versus trying to write it out and make sure it makes sense and all that. I just felt as if it would be better for myself in the future to record. Um, Going into my process, I expected it to be easy. I honestly told myself that I was just going to get this project done and just not worry about it. But it definitely was not the case. It was definitely harder than I expected. It took a lot of work, took a lot of planning. Um, my my finishing product isn't anywhere near what I planned for it to be. However, I'm not saying that I'm not satisfied with my ending product because I felt good after watching everything. But anyway, it was definitely harder. I wasn't expecting it to be this hard. Just determining what was the cultural object that I wanted to discuss was the hardest part. I didn't know honestly to go into this. I didn't even know what culture meant properly until we had this project. So it was definitely a challenging one. Um, my process for this one was entirely different than than the process for the other project. With the other one, it was kind of just you write like I just wrote down a couple things just to get me just to plan out where I want it to go with the previous project. But with this one, it took a lot of planning. I took a lot of restarting. I honestly restarted a couple times, and I still implemented some of the things that that were in the previous renditions of everything, but I just couldn't. It was hard for me to pick a starting point with things, and so I did what we did in class. What you discussed in class actually. I wrote down one idea that I had, and then I built everything else up from that. Like it was really just I took the what was called the Skater Rebellion, and I pretty much picked that apart and built the entire project around that. Pretty much, honestly. Um, it was definitely different. It was completely different. The biggest challenge was definitely picking my cultural object, mainly because there were so many places I could have went. Originally, I planned on just discussing board sports, but after I had a conference with you, you told me to try to narrow it down some from board sports, and so that's what I did. I originally was just going to go to skateboard and discuss the different skateboard cultures, but there's not really many cultures within that. So then I just branched it out to skating, and skating has several cultures, and I decided to pick the skateboard versus longboard cultures, I guess you can say. Um, my peers helped a lot during the process. I didn't have an argument at first, honestly. I didn't know how to build my argument for the project. And after discussing with my group members, they helped me a lot, really, determining what was the argument within my project. Um, Differently, the next project I definitely would spend more time working on it. It's gonna be hard. I have to find more time. I would definitely spend more time. Um, I would probably, if I were to do this project differently, I would do more research. Um, I just felt like I could have added a lot more research to this project. I did have a lot of sources, but I felt like I could add even more. I probably shouldn't, but I could. Yeah, that is my reflection.